शिष्य गुरु गौरांग गंधारी गिरिधारी शिष्य राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वतर शत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishtam Vishnupara Shuttara Shutta Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. नाम आचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट वृदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड यमुना गंगा तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। Today is today's Srila Bhakti Surabh Bhakti Sar Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Oh, I forgot to open up Restream. Is it live? I think so. All right, yes, it's live. All right. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat Pranams. Wait 1 second. Just getting it set up on Zoom. 1 second, let me just. Half here is on the cold ground, so let me just bring her some and bring him some warm. Sorry, he's on the cold ground. So just, all right, so we will do the Mangala Charan and then begin. So, okay, so just sharing my screen and we'll begin. Okay. Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Kodiya Gurvanvaye Bhatto Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udritya Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudapti Gahana Sukang Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodang Shri Gaura Shakti Swarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vrishabhanusutan Vitavamattanum Yamuna Tattanagarana Sutam Murali Kalagita Vinoraparang Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunjavidum Smara Gaura Gadadara Kelikalang Bhava Gaura Gadadara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadara Charukatang Bhaja Godrumakanana Kunjavidum Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashchakamadittaranga Madhye Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. So, welcome to our Daśa-mūla-śikṣā program. We are now on chapter 17. Yesterday we read the first part of the chapter, the whole drama that's going on in Rajanath's life with his parents, with his grandmother especially, trying to get him married. And Vaini Madhav was, anyways, we read all that. If you weren't for yesterday's reading, then yeah, you can watch. I'm not going to do a recap of that because yeah, I'd like to try to finish this chapter. But yeah, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is such an amazing writer. All right, so we will go over the first verse of we'll go over the introduction verse of Daśa-mūla-śikṣā and then look at the verse for today. And let me see everybody who's here. Dandavat Pranams, Pradumna Prabhu, Mantaramurti Mataji, Shri Devi Didi, Kishore Prabhu, and I see 6 other devotees there. Hari Bol Rukmini Didi, Dandavat Pranam. All right. So, oh, and I'm sure you saw the news I put in our WhatsApp group, and I also posted it on Facebook. But we have a new addition to the family. He's right here. I'll let you see. He was just sitting with me for like since the Mangalarti time. Here, show you. He's just right there. I don't know what name to give him yet. I think we're thinking of Padma Maganda. Anyways, he's just okay. So let's begin. So this is oh yeah. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. We're going through the introduction first. Amnaya prahatatvam harimiha paramam sarvashakting rasabdhim tadbhinangshangscha jivan prakriti kavalitan tadvimuktangscha bhavat bheda bheda prakasham sakalamapi hare sadhanam shuddha bhaktim sadyam tat pritimevetupadishati janan Gaurachandra Swayang Sa. So the first, yeah, we went over this yesterday, but the first line relates to Shri Hari. Well, first, the first thing is Amnaya Praha, which is our evidence. And that evidence, which is the Vedas received through the Guru Parampara, called Amnaya, that evidence proves the following nine um, pramayas. Pramayas means that which has been proven by the evidence. So in the first line, it is Shri Hari is the supreme absolute truth. That's here in yellow. Then in red, he is the possessor of all potencies, Sarva Shaktiman, and he is Rasabdim. He is an ocean of ras. And then the next line relates to the jivas, another three. So the jivas are Tad Bhina Angsha. They are Shri Hari's, they're Tad, that means his, Bhinna separated Angsha, parts or portions, no parts. And the conditioned souls are Prakriti Kavalitan. They are swallowed by Maya. They are under the control of Maya, covered by Maya. And the liberated souls are Vimuktangs. They are liberated from Tat, from Maya. Then the third line says, Bheda Bheda Prakasham Sakalam Api Hare. Sakalam, everything in existence, is a prakasham, is a manifestation that is both bhed, that is separate from Shri, that is different from Shri Hari, and abhed, non-different from Shri Hari. The means to attain the goal, the means to attain the goal, our sadhan is Shuddha Bhakti. And our goal, our sadhya, is Tat Pritim. That means Priti, Prem for Tat, for that Sri Hari. These, this is what Sri Gaurachandra instructed the living entities, the Janan, who, that Sri Gaurachandra who is Swayam Bhagavan, completely non-different from Rajendra Nandan Sri Krishna Sham Sundar. So, um, so we've made it up to number 6. The conditioned souls are captured by, no, sorry, we've made it up to number 7. The liberated souls are free from Maya. And so, um, I'll just read from this point on. As soon as Rajanath reached the kutir, Babaji called out to him affectionately, "Come, Baba, come," and embraced him. Rajanath's throat choked with emotion, and tears started flowing from his eyes as he fell down at Babaji's feet. Babaji picked him up very affectionately and said gently, "A black-complexioned Brahmin came here this morning. Sorry, yeah, this morning. He said some agitating things and then went away again. Do you know him?" Rajanath, Prabhu, your good self told me earlier that there are different kinds of jivas in this world. Some of them are so envious that without any cause, they find satisfaction in troubling other jivas. Our brother Vaini Madhav is one of the leaders in that category. I will be very glad if we don't discuss him further. It is his very nature to criticize you to me and me to you, and to cause disputes between us by manufacturing false accusations. I hope you didn't pay any attention to what you said. Babaji, Ha Krishna, Ha Gauranga, I have been serving the Vaishnavas for many days now, and by their mercy, I have received the power to tell the difference between a Vaishnav and a non-Vaishnav. You don't need to say anything to me about this. Rajanath, please forget all this and tell me how a jiva can become free from the clutches of Maya. And Babaji said, you will get your answer in the 7th shloka of Daśa-mūla. Yada brahmang brahmang harirasa galar vaishnava janam kadachit sampashyan taranugamane syad ruchiyuta tada krishna vritya tyajati shanakarmayika dasham sarupang vibhrano vimala rasa bhogang sakurute. It's the 7th verse of Daśa-mūla. When in the course of wandering amongst the higher and lower species in the material world, a jiva is able to behold a Vaishnav absorbed in the flowing ras of Sri Hari Bhakti, taste arises in his heart for following the Vaishnav way of life. By chanting Sri Krishna Nam, he gradually becomes free from his conditioning. Step by step, he then gains his intrinsic Chinmay Swarup, his transcendental form, and becomes qualified to taste the pure and spiritual ras of direct service to Sri Krishna. Haribo, Nuri Hari Prabhu, and Papatarani Mataji, and Chatamai Didi. Haribo. Just give me 1 second. Haribo Vidyalala Sadidi. Just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna put this cap on a mat because the floor is really cold. Just 1 second. There. Okay. So, just putting him on this mat here so that be warm. All right. So. Rajanath, I would like to hear some evidence from the Vedas to verify this. And should we go through the Sanskrit? Maybe that would be good. Wait, let me just open up the file. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit splayed out, I know today. Where is the file? Daśa-mūla-śikṣā. Here. I haven't actually looked at this verse since we went through it yesterday, so hopefully I can understand it. Okay, so yada means when, and tada means then. Yada, tada. When, then. So yada, when, brahmang, that means wandering and wandering, while wandering through various higher and lower species in the material world. When a living entity bound by Maya happens to behold a Vaishnav overflowing with Hari Ras. So Hari Rasa Galad Vaishnava Janam. Vaishnava Janam means just a Vaishnav, um, who is Galad, who is um, means melting or flowing with Hari Ras. Kadachit. At some point, like suddenly, by Kadachit, Sampashyan means he beholds. When this living entity who's been Brahman, who's been wandering throughout all the different species of higher and lower species of life, finally he Sampashyam, he beholds a Vaishnav who is Hari Rasa Galad, who is melting in Hari Ras, who is overflowing with Hari Ras. Then Syat Ruchi Yuta, then a taste for Tar Anugamani, for following him, arises in his heart, or awakens within him. Tada, then, at that point, Krishna Vritya, while Vritya means chanting, while chanting, by chanting Krishna, then Tyajati, he gives up, I have to look up this word Shanakar, but he gives up, he gives up the influence of Maya, his state of being controlled by Maya, his Mayak Dasha, and then Sarupang Vibhrano Vimala Rasa Bhogam Sakurute. And then I have to look up this word Vibhrana also. I didn't do that yet. But he attains his Sarup, and then Bhog, then he partakes in the Vimala, means completely spotless, immaculate Ras. So in this way, he progressively attains his true nature and becomes qualified to relish the immaculate Ras. And then in the Bengali, it added of service to Sri Krishna. So yeah, that wasn't a very good explanation, but I didn't get around to actually looking into this verse and figuring out the words better. But anyways, that's for now. Okay. So Vrajanath. I would like to hear some evidence from the Vedas to verify this. Babaji. It is said in the Upanishads, Samani vrikshe purusho nimagno nishaya shochati muhyamana jushtam yada pashyatanyam jushtam yada pashyatanyamisham asya mahimanam eti vitashoka. That's from the Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.2 and the Shvetashvatar Upanishad 4.7. One second, let me just move something out of the way. Okay. The Jiva and the indwelling Paramatma both reside in the body, like two birds in the same tree. The Jiva is sunk in the bodily conception of life because of his attachment to material sense enjoyment. Bewildered by Māyā, he cannot find any means of deliverance, and thus he laments and falls down. When the Jiva has darshan of the other persons within his heart, when the Jiva has darshan of the other person within his heart, namely the Supreme Lord who is served eternally by his unalloyed bhaktas, he witnesses Krishna's uncommon glories. He then becomes free. He then becomes free from all lamentation and attains his glorious position as Krishna's servant. Vrajanath. This shloka states that when the Jiva sees the worshipable Lord, he becomes free forever from all anxieties and directly perceives his magnificence. Does this imply liberation? Babaji. Liberation means to be released from the clutches of Māyā. Only those who have the association of saintly people attain this liberation. But the real subject of research is the glorious position that one receives after attaining liberation. Muktir hitvanyata rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. That's Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, Verse 6. The jiva, in his original constitutional form, is a pure servant of Krishna. When he falls down into the darkness of nescience, he has to accept gross and subtle material bodies. Liberation means to abandon these extraneous forms completely and be situated in one's original spiritual swarup. This half shloka explains that liberation means to abandon these other forms and to be situated in one's swarup. Attaining one's constitutional position is a necessity for the jiva. The work of liberation is complete the moment the jiva is released from the clutches of māyā. Then so many activities begin once he attains his natural constitutional position. This is the fundamental necessity of attainment, the mūl prayojan of the jiva. Freedom from intense misery can be called liberation, but following liberation, there is another stage in which a person achieves spiritual happiness, chit sukha. That state is described in the Chandogya Upanishad 8.12.3. Evam evaisha samprasado smachcharirat samutthaya param jyotirupa sampadya svena rupena bhinishpadyate. Yeah. One second. Let me just, there, that's better. Oh, sa uttama purushat satatra paryati jakshan kridan ramamana. When the jiva achieves liberation, he transcends the gross and subtle material bodies and is situated in his own non-material spiritual state, complete with his spiritual effulgence. He then becomes transcendently situated. In that spiritual atmosphere, he becomes absorbed in enjoyment, in bhog, activities, krida, and bliss, ananda. Vrajanath. What are the symptoms of those who are liberated from māyā? Babaji. They have 8 symptoms, which Chandogya Upanishad 8.7.1 describes as follows. Ya atma pahata papma vijaro vimritur vishoko vijighatso vipasaha satyakama satyasankalpa sonveshtavya. The liberated soul has 8 qualities. He is freed from all sinful activity, as well as the addiction to sinful activities that arises because of the nescience of māyā. He is not subject to the miseries of old age. He always remains young and fresh, and he has no tendency to decay. He never comes to an end or dies. He is never morose. He has no sensual desires. He has a natural inclination towards serving Krishna with no other desires, and all of his desires become realized. These 8 qualities are absent from the Baddha Jiva, from the conditioned soul, the bound soul. Vrajanath. It is said in the Daśa-mūla-śikṣā, the good fortune of the jiva who is wandering aimlessly in the material world arises when he meets a rasik Vaishnav who relishes the nectar of Hari. One might raise the objection that one could eventually attain Hari Bhakti by performing pious activities, such as Ashtanga Yoga and cultivating Brahma Gyan. And Babaji says, these are Sri Krishna's own words. Naro dhayati mam yogo na sankyam dharma eva cha na swadhyayas tapastyago nishta puratam na dakshina. Vratani yagaschandangshi tirtani niyama yama yata varundhe satsanga sarvasanga paho himam. That's Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 12, verses 1 to 2. Sri Bhagavan said, I am not controlled by those who perform yoga. Sorry, I am not controlled by those who perform yoga, study Sankhya philosophy, perform religious duties and pious activities, study the Vedas, perform penances and austerities, practice renunciation, or accept sannyas, or who perform sacrifice and welfare activities, give donations and charity, practice fasting and other vows, perform yajna, chant confidential mantras, go on pilgrimage, and follow all the rules and regulations for spiritual life. However, one who accepts satsanga, which destroys all material attachments, can control me. How much can I say? Ashtanga yoga can slightly satisfy me indirectly, but sadhu sangha controls me completely. What was that from? That's the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th Canto, Chapter 12. First two verses of Chapter 12. Okay. It is also stated in Hari Bhakti Sudodhoy 851. Yasya yat sangati pungso mani vat syat satarguna swakulardhyay sorry swakulardhyay swakulardhyay tato dhiman swayutanyeva sangshrayat. This is a famous verse. Just as a jewel or crystal reflects the color of the object with which it is in contact, so a person develops qualities according to the company he keeps. It's a nice verse. I'd like to learn that one. Therefore, by keeping association with pure sadhus, one can become a pure sadhu. Thus, the association of pure sadhus is the root cause of all good fortune. In the Shastras, the word nisanga means to live in solitude. This implies that we should only live in the association of bhaktas. Nisanga means to live Nisanga means to leave all other association and to take the association of bhaktas. Even unintentional association with saintly people brings good fortune for the jiva. The association of materialists, I didn't read the verse. Sango ya sangsrite hetur asatsu vihito dhiya sa eva sadhushu krito nisangatvaya kalpate. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 3:23-55. The association of materialists is the cause of bondage in the material world, even though one may not know this is so. Similarly, the association with saintly people, even if it happens by chance or unknowingly, is called nisanga. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam 7:532, Naishang matis tavar, this is a famous verse, Naisham matis tavar arukramangrim sprishatyanartha pagamo yarartha mahiyasam pada rajobhishekam nishkinchananam navrinityavat. The lotus feet of Urukram, who is glorified for his uncommon activities, destroy all anarthas in the heart. However, those who are very materialistic cannot be attached to his lotus feet until they smear their bodies with the dust from the lotus feet of great souls who are absorbed in Bhagavat Prem and who are completely freed from material attachments. And Srimad Bhagavatam 10:48-31 states, Nahyam mayani tirtani nadeva mritchila maya te punatyurukalena darshanad evasadava. I remember Kishore taught us this verse in Gurukul. One is purified by the holy places where rivers such as the Ganga flow, and by the stone and clay deities of devatas, but only after rendering them reverential service for a long period of time. However, when one has darshan of a Shuddha Bhakta, he is purified immediately. That is why Srimad Bhagavatam 10:51-53 also says, Bhava pavargo brahmato yada bhavij janasya tarhya chuta satsamagama satsangamo yarhi tadaiva sadgato paravareshe tvayijayate mati. O infallible Lord, the jiva has been wandering in this world of birth and death since time without beginning. When the time comes for him to leave this cycle of life and when the time comes for him to leave this cycle of life and death, he associates with your Shuddha Bhaktas. From the moment that he achieves this association, his mind becomes firmly fixed on you, you who are the sole and supreme shelter of the surrendered Bhaktas, the controller of all, and the cause of all causes. Baba, since time without beginning, the jiva who is eternally bound by māyā has been moving in the universe, taking birth according to his karma, sometimes as a deva, sometimes in the various animal species. From the time that he attains the association of saintly people because of his past pious activities, because of his sukriti, he fixes his mind very strongly on Krishna, the controller of all. Rajanath. You have said that the association of Shuddha Bhaktas is achieved by Sukriti. What is Sukriti? Is it karma or knowledge? Babaji. The Shastras say that there are two types of auspicious karma. There are two types of Shubha karma that are in accordance with Vedic injunctions. One causes the appearance of bhakti, while the other gives irrelevant, inferior results. Performance of pious activities such as nitya and naimitic karma, studying sankhya, and cultivating gyan, all give irrelevant results. The only auspicious activities that give bhakti as an end result, bhakti prada sukriti, are associating with Shuddha Bhaktas and with places, times, and things that bestow bhakti. When enough bhakti prada sukriti has been accumulated, it gives rise to Krishna bhakti. The other type of sukriti, however, is consumed after one enjoys its results, so it does not accumulate to give any permanent result. All the pious deeds in the world, such as charity, only result in achieving the objects of sense gratification. The sukriti of impersonal speculation results in impersonal liberation. Neither of these results of sukriti can give devotional service to Sri Bhagavan. Activities such as sadhu sangha and observing Akadashi, Janmashtami, and Gaur Purnima all help to develop one's saintly qualities. Tulsi, Mahaprasad, Sri Mandir, holy places, and articles used by sadhus, sadhu vastu, are all auspicious. Touching them or obtaining their darshan are pious deeds that give rise to bhakti. Brajanath. Can a person obtain bhakti if he is tormented by material problems and take shelter of Sri Hari's lotus feet in full knowledge to become relieved of his problems? Babaji. The jiva, harassed by the afflictions of the goddess of illusion, may somehow understand through discriminating intelligence that worldly activities are simply troublesome. And that is his only. Sorry. So he might somehow understand that through discriminating intelligence that worldly activities are simply troublesome, and that his only solace is Krishna's lotus feet and the feet of his Shuddha Bhaktas. Knowing this, he takes shelter of his lotus feet, and the first step in the process of surrender is to accept the shelter of Shuddha Bhaktas. This is the principle, Bhakti Prada Sukriti, through which he obtains the lotus feet of Bhagavan. Whatever renunciation and wisdom he had originally were just a secondary means of obtaining bhakti. Thus, the association of bhaktas is the only way to attain bhakti. There is no other recourse. Brajanath. If karma, gyan, renunciation, and discrimination are secondary ways of achieving bhakti, What is the objection to calling them Bhakti Prada Sukriti? That means Sukriti, which leads to Bhakti, or which, yeah, gives rise to Bhakti. Then Babaji says, there is a strong objection. These other things, they bind one to inferior, temporary results. The performance of karma has no permanent results, but it binds the jivas to objects of sense gratification. Renunciation and empirical knowledge can only lead the jiva as far as knowledge of Brahma. And this conception of this conception of an impersonal supreme principle prevents him from attaining Bhagavan's lotus feet. Consequently, these cannot be called Bhakti Prada Sukriti. It is true that they sometimes take one to bhakti, but that is not the usual course of events. Sadhu Sangha, on the other hand, definitely does not award any secondary benefit, but it forcibly brings the jiva towards prem. I like that. Sadhu Sangha forcibly brings the jiva towards prem. It is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25. Satang prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kata tajjoshanar ashvapavargavartmani shraddharatir bhaktir anukramishyati. In the association of Shuddha Bhaktas, the recitation and discussion of my glorious activities and pastimes are pleasing to both the heart and the ears. By cultivating knowledge in this way, one becomes established on the path of liberation and progressively attains Shraddha, then Bhav, and finally Prem Bhakti. Rajana, I understand that Sadhu Sangha is the only Sukriti that gives rise to Bhakti. One has to listen to Harikatha from the mouths of sadhus, and thereafter one obtains Bhakti. Is this the proper sequence to progress in Bhakti? Babaji, I'll explain the proper way of one second. Shift. So, Babaji, I will explain the proper way of progressing in bhakti. Listen attentively. Only by good fortune does the jiva who is wandering throughout the universe achieve the sukriti that gives rise to bhakti. One of the many limbs of pure bhakti may touch a jiva's life. For example, he may fast on Ekadashi, touch or visit the holy places of Bhagavan's pastimes. He may serve a guest who happens to be a Shuddha Bhakta, or have the chance to hear Harinam or Harikatha from the lotus mouth of an Akinchan Bhakta. If someone desires material benefits or impersonal liberation from such activities, the resultant Sukriti does not lead to devotional service. However, if an innocent person performs any of these activities, either knowingly or out of habit, without desiring material sense gratification or impersonal liberation, these activities lead to the accumulation of Bhakti Prada Sukriti. After accumulating such Sukriti for many births, it becomes concentrated enough to give faith in pure Bhakti. And when faith in Bhakti is undivided, one develops a desire to associate with Shuddha Bhaktas. By association, one gradually becomes engaged in performing sadhan and bhajan, and this leads to the removal of anarthas, in the proportion to the purity of chanting. By association, one gradually becomes engaged in performing sadhan and bhajan, and this leads to the removal of anarthas in proportion to the purity of chanting. When anarthas are removed, the previous faith is purified further to become nishta, becomes firm faith. And this firm faith is also purified to become ruchi, spiritual taste. And by the saundarya, by the beauty of bhakti, this ruchi is strengthened,
and takes the form of asakti, transcendental attachment. Transcendental attachment matures into rati, or bhav. When a rati combines with the appropriate ingredients, it becomes a ras. This is the step-by-step progression in the development of Krishna Prem. The principal idea is that when people with sufficient sukriti have darshan of Shuddha Bhaktas, they develop an inclination to proceed on the path of bhakti. One associates with the Shuddha Bhakta by chance, and this leads to initial Shraddha, whereupon he gets the association of the Bhaktas a second time. The result of the first association is Shraddha, which can also be termed surrender, Sharanagati. The initial sadhusanga is brought about by contact with holy places, auspicious times, and paraphernalia, and recipients of Sri Hari's grace, all of which are beloved by him. These lead to faith in his shelter. The symptoms of the development of such faith are described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 66. Sarva-dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja ahang tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayishami ma sucha. Here the words sarva dharman imply worldly duties, smarta dharmam, ashtanga yoga, sankhya yoga, gyan, and renunciation. The jiva can never achieve his ultimate spiritual goal by practicing all these dharmas, which is why the instruction here is to give them up. Krishna says, "My form of pure and condensed Satchid Ananda, appearing as Vrajavilasi, the performer of wonderful pastimes in Vraj, is the only shelter for the jivas." When one understands this, he gives up all desire for bhukti, for material sense enjoyment, and mukti, in personal liberation. And with undivided attention, he takes shelter of me. This is known as pravritti rup shraddha, the exclusive tendency to engage in Krishna's service. When such faith dawns in the jiva's heart, with tears in his eyes, he resolves to become a follower of a Vaishnav sadhu. The Vaishnav of whom he takes shelter at that point is the Guru. Rajanath. How many types of anarthas does a jiva have? Babaji. There are 4 types of anarthas. There's Swarup Brahma, being an illusion about one's spiritual identity. 2, Asat Trishna, that's thirst for material enjoyment. 3 is Aparad, offenses. And 4 is Hriday Dorbalya, weakness of heart. Okay, so the 4 types of anarthas: Swarup Brahm, Asat Trishna, Aparad, Hriday Dorbalya. That means being an illusion about one's spiritual identity, thirst for material enjoyment, offenses, and weakness of the heart. Swarup Brahm, Asat Trishna, Aparad, Hriday Dorbalya. The jiva's first anartha, namely Swarup Brahm, occurs when he forgets the understanding that I, the pure spiritual spark, am Krishna's servant. So he forgets that and is carried far away from his original spiritual position. When the jiva considers that he and his dead material possessions are I and mine, he develops 3 types of asat trishna, 3 types of thirst for the mundane. Trishna means thirst, right? And asat means for material objects, material things. These are desire for a son, for wealth, and for celestial pleasures. There are 10 types of aparad, which I will discuss later. The jiva is grief-stricken because, so on the topic of aparad, there are 10 types of aparad, which I'll discuss later. And then the 4th one is the jiva is grief-stricken because of hriday dorbalya, weakness of heart. These 4 types of anarthas are the naisargika phala, the fruit of nisarga, or the acquired nature of the jiva who has been caught by ignorance. And they are removed gradually by cultivating Krishna consciousness in the association of Shuddha Bhaktas. The fourfold path of yoga consists of withdrawal from sense objects, pratyahara, self-control, yama, following the various rules and regulations, niyam, and renunciation, vairagya. This process is not the proper means to free oneself from material anxiety, for it is difficult to attain perfection, and there is always a strong risk of falling down. The only way to become free from all anxiety is to cultivate pure Krishna consciousness in the association of Shuddha Bhaktas. Thus, the jiva is freed from Maya's strong stranglehold, and his constitutional position is revealed to the extent that his anarthas have been removed from his heart. Vrajanath. Can people with no trace of anarthas be termed liberated people? Babaji. Please consider the following shlokas. Rajobi samasankyata partivair iha jantava tesham ye kechane hante shreyo vai manujadaya prayo mumukshavaste kechanaiva dvijotama mumukshunam sahasreshu kashchin muchyate siddhyati. Muktanam, oh, this is a famous verse. Muktanam apisiddhanam narayana parayana sadurlabha prashantatma kotishvapi mahamune. That's from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, verses 3 to 5. Hey Bhagavan, there are as many jivas in this material world as there are grains of sand. Only a few of these are human beings, amongst whom only a few direct their efforts in search of a higher goal. Of those who are endeavoring for a higher goal, only few rare individuals seek liberation from this world. And out of thousands of such people, hardly one is able to achieve siddhi, perfection, or mukti, liberation. Out of millions of perfected, liberated souls, it is difficult to find a single peaceful great soul who is fully dedicated to seva of Sri Narayan. Therefore, Narayan's bhaktas are very rare. A person free from all anarthas is known as a Shuddha Bhakta. Such bhaktas are very rare. Indeed, even among millions of muktas, of millions of liberated souls, one could hardly find a single bhakta of Sri Krishna, a single devotee of Sri Krishna. Therefore, no association in this world is more rare than the association of Krishna's bhaktas, Krishna's devotees. Rajanath. Does the word Vaishnav imply a bhakta who has renounced family life? Babaji. A Shuddha Bhakta is a Vaishnav, whether he is a Grahasta, a householder, or a sannyasi, a renunciate, a Brahman, or a Chandal, rich or poor. A devotee is a Krishna Bhakta to the degree that he has Shuddha Krishna Bhakti, pure devotion for Krishna. Vajanath. You have already said that there are 5 types of jiva in Maya's stronghold, and you have also said that bhaktas performing sadhan bhakti and bhav bhakti are under Maya's control. At which stage are bhaktas Maya mukta? At what stage are they liberated from Maya? Babaji, one is freed from the clutches of Maya from the very beginning of his devotional service. But vastu gata mukti, or complete liberation from the 2 material bodies, gross and subtle, is only obtained when one reaches the stage of full maturity in bhakti sadhan. Before this, a person is liberated to the extent that he is sarupagata, aware of his constitutional position. The jiva attains vastu gata maya mukti, that means complete freedom from Maya, only when he is completely disassociated from the gross and subtle bodies. The stage of bhav bhakti dawns in the jiva's heart as a result of practicing sadhan bhakti. When the jiva is firmly established in bhav bhakti, he gives up his gross body, and after that, he gives up the subtle body and becomes established in his pure spiritual body, in his chit sharir. Consequently, the jiva is not fully free from Maya's control, even in the beginning stage of bhav bhakti, because a trace of the conditioning of Maya always remains as long as a jiva is performing sadhan bhakti. The authorities in our line have carefully considered sadhan bhakti and bhav bhakti and have included bhaktas practicing both these stages amongst the 5 stages of conditioned souls. The materialists and the impersonalists are definitely included amongst the 5 categories of conditioned souls. Sorry. The only path of deliverance from the clutches of Maya is bhakti for Sri Hari. The jiva has been put under Maya's control because he is offensive. And the root of all offenses is forgetting that I am Krishna's servant. The offenses can only be eradicated if one has Krishna's mercy. Only then can one be freed from Maya's control. The impersonalists believe that one can gain liberation from Maya by cultivating knowledge. But this belief has no basis. There is no possibility of becoming free from Maya without his mercy. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, verses 32 to 33. Yeneravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayasta bhavar avishuddha buddhaya aruhya krichrena parang padang tata patantyado nadrita yushmarangraya. O lotus-eyed Lord, those who proudly think that they are liberated, but do not render devotional service, unto you, certainly have impure intelligence. Although they perform severe austerities and penances, and they rise up to the spiritual position of impersonal realization of Brahma, they fall down again because they have no respect for devotional service to your lotus feet. Tatanate madhavata tavaka kvachid prashyanti margat tvaibadda sohrida tvaya bhigupta vicharanti nirbhaya vinayakani kapamurdhasu prabho. O Madhav, your dearmost bhaktas who have true love for your lotus feet are not like those proud jnanis, for they never fall down from the path of devotional service. Since you protect them, they move about fearlessly, stepping on the very heads of those who obstruct their path, so that no obstacle can check their progress. You protect them so that no obstacle can check their progress. Rajanath, how many different types of jivas are liberated from Maya? Oh, I see. It's 1 minute till 8. Maybe this is a good place to stop. Actually, let's just read this one section and then we'll stop here. So, how many different types of jivas are liberated from Maya? Babaji, 2 kinds of jivas are free from Maya's control. 1, the Nitya Mukta, the jivas who are never under Maya's control, and the Baddha Mukta, those who were once under Maya's control but are now free. Sorry. The Nitya Mukta jivas are divided again into 2 categories. 1, Aishwarya Gata, those who are attracted by Bhagavan's feature of opulence and majesty. And 2, Madhurya Gata, those who are attracted by his feature of sweetness. Those jivas who are attracted by Krishna's Aishwarya are personal associates of Sri Narayan, the master of Vaikuntha. They are particles of spiritual effulgence emanating from Sri Mul Sankarshan, who resides in Vaikuntha. Those who are attracted by Bhagavan's Madhurya are personal associates of Sri Krishna, the master of Goloka Vrindavan. They are particles of spiritual effulgence manifesting from Sri Baladev, who resides in Goloka Vrindavan. Then there are 3 kinds of Baddha Mukta jivas. Aishwarya Gata, those who are attracted to Bhagavan's features of opulence. Oops, did I go the other way? Okay, yeah, no, sorry. There are three kinds of Baddha Mukta Jivas. Aishwarya Gata, those attracted by Bhagavan's features of opulence and majesty, and Madhurya Gata, those who are attracted to Bhagavan's feature of sweetness. And three, Brahma Jyoti Gata, those who are attracted to Bhagavan's impersonal effulgence. Those who are attracted to his opulence during their period of regulated service become eternal associates of Sri Narayan, the master of the spiritual sky, and they achieve Salokya Mukti, the opulence of residing on his planet. Jivas who are attracted to Sri Krishna's sweetness during their period of sadhan attain direct service to him when they are liberated in the eternal abodes of Vrindavan and other similar abodes. Jivas who attempt to merge into the impersonal effulgence during their period of sadhan attain Sayuja Mukti even when they are liberated. They merge into his effulgence and are completely destroyed in the form of Brahma Sayuja. And then we're ending here. Vrajanath then asks, what is the ultimate destination of unalloyed bhaktas of Sri Gaura of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So we will read this all tomorrow. This is actually the last thing that Vrajanath asks. And then when Vrajanath had heard all these teachings about the state of the jivas who are freed from Maya, he could no longer keep his composure. Brimming with emotion, he fell down at elderly Babaji's lotus feet. Crying profusely, Babaji Mahashai picked him up and embraced him. It was already quite late in the night. Vrajanath took leave of Babaji Mahashai and went home, totally engrossed in meditating on Babaji's instructions. When Vrajanath reached home, he took his meal, and while doing so, he warned his grandmother sternly, Grandmother, if you people want to see me here, stop all this talk about my marriage and do not keep any sort of contact with Vaini Madhav. He is my greatest enemy from tomorrow. I will never speak with him again. You should also neglect him. Vrajanath's grandmother was very intelligent. Understanding Vrajanath's mood, she decided to postpone any question of marriage. From the kind of sentiment he is displaying, she thought, if he is forced too much, he will leave for Vrindavan or Varanasi. Let Bhagavan decide as he will. Thus ends the 17th chapter of Jaiva-dharma entitled Prameya, Jivas Free from Maya. So tomorrow I will read, I'll just read the last question that Vrajanath mentioned, like he asked about Gaur Krishna, the destination of those who worship Gaur Krishna. So we'll read that and then we will begin chapter 18 tomorrow. All right. Dandavat pranams, everybody. You want to see uh, the new path? There he is. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Oh, I'm just seeing, 1 second. Oh, and the reason why I brought, I don't know what we're gonna name him. I think Padmaganda, but I have to look at other names. But the reason he's in my room right now is because he was all wet and it's really cold outside, and so we're just warming him up. But then I will bring him back to Shamali soon. All right. Um, yeah, we won't keep him separated from his mother for too long, just for a little while, so he can warm up. Okay. Jai Shachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shila Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shila Param Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopala Bhattadasa Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Swarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur ki jai, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदत्त गिरिराज महाराज की जाय श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जय श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय जय श्री जैव-धर्म की जय श्री रघुनाथ दास बाबा जी की जय ब्रजनाथ की जय जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल जय तुलसी प्रिय कृष्ण कृष्ण भक्ति प्रदेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः धन्यवाद प्रणाम्स प्रद्युम्न प्रभु मंत्रमूर्ति माता जी श्रीदेवी दीदी नरी हरि प्रभु भवतारिणी माता जी Chattamai माता जी left. Let's see. And Kishore Prabhu, Rukmini Didi, Vidya Lalasa Didi, tonic for the heart band ears. Rasayana Kata. Yeah. Oh, Haribol Shubhananda Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, Raj Mandal Kishore, and Bangsiwala Prabhu, and everybody else. I see there are 12 devotees there. Dandavat Pranams. All right. And here, I'll let you see Padmaganda, if that's what we're going to call him. There he is. Isn't he so sweet? Yes. All right. Dandavat Pranam. See you all tomorrow to read chapter 18, which is on the topic of, I think tomorrow will be a Chinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. So, all right. Haribol. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream for today? All right. See you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radha.